Hello and welcome. I'm Blair Blackwell, and this is the Daily Cyber Brief. Here's today's rundown of the biggest cybersecurity stories you need to know today. Good morning. This is the Daily Cyber Brief for Friday, January 2nd, 2026. Here are the key cyber risks shaping today's session. Active exploitation of a critical web framework flaw to build a botnet. Several high-severity enterprise vulnerabilities drawing fresh warnings, and a wave of malicious browser extensions and supply chain abuse hitting millions of users. We'll start with active campaigns. Researchers say the RondoDocs botnet has spent the last 9 months targeting internet-connected devices and web applications, now leveraging the critical React2Shell vulnerability, CVE 2025-55182, with a perfect 10.0 severity as an initial entry point. One variant is breaching vulnerable Next.js servers and dropping malware and cryptominers, underscoring how quickly attackers move to operationalize newly disclosed flaws. Meanwhile, the European Space Agency confirmed a breach of external servers outside its corporate network, describing the data as unclassified collaborative engineering material. And in the crypto ecosystem, Trust Wallet linked an $8.5 million theft from its Chrome extension to a broader supply chain compromise, saying exposed developer GitHub secrets gave the attacker access to extension source code. On the vulnerability front, 2 enterprise issues stand out. IBM urged customers to address a critical authentication bypass in API Connect, tracked as CVE 2025-13915, rated 9.8 out of 10, that could allow remote access to applications. Separately, Singapore's cybersecurity agency flagged a maximum severity flaw in SmarterMail, CVE 2025-52691, an arbitrary file upload issue that can lead to remote code execution. Both stories fit a familiar pattern. Internet-facing management and messaging components remain prime targets once details land in public. Turning to threat actors and techniques, the browser extension ecosystem is again in the crosshairs. Investigators tied a cluster of malicious Chrome, Edge, and Firefox extensions to the dark Spectre threat actor, with campaigns collectively impacting 8.8 million users. A separate Zoom stealer operation has pushed 18 extensions to 2.2 million users to siphon meeting links, topics, and even embedded passwords. A reminder that sensitive collaboration data often sits in places defenders overlook. Add to that a new cybercrime service called Air Traffic, which fabricates fake glitches on compromised sites to drive users into one-click infections. And a fork wave of the Glassworm macOS campaign, abusing Trojanized VS Code OpenVSX extensions to deliver backdoored crypto wallets to developers. Finally, a broader risk angle worth noting. As Dark Reading asks, what happens to always connected devices when the cloud falters? The answer is disruption at scale, from smart homes to classrooms, making cloud dependency an operational risk, not just an IT concern. Who should care and why? API-driven businesses, SaaS providers, and anyone exposing developer portals should treat authentication bypasses as high impact. Email admins running SmarterMail face potential remote code execution. Teams hosting React or Next.js stacks, along with operators of IoT fleets, are in the blast radius of RondoDocs exploitation and rapid mass scanning. Enterprises relying heavily on browser extensions, from productivity to conferencing, should assume that meeting metadata and credentials are attractive targets, and macOS developer shops and crypto-adjacent firms remain enticing for supply chain-style malware seeded through tools and extensions. Looking ahead, expect continued probing for React2Shell across web servers and IoT gateways. Watch for vendor advisories, proof of concepts, and opportunistic copycats. Monitor IBM API Connect and SmarterMail channels for fixes, hardening guidance, and any reports of in-the-wild exploitation. On the user side, anticipate extension store takedowns and updates as campaigns are remediated, but also new lookalikes. No major headlines reported since the last session beyond these active threads. What I'll be watching today: API gateways and single sign-on surfaces for abuse. Next.js and broader React ecosystems for follow-on malware and crypto mining. mail servers exposed to the internet, the browser extension supply chain across Chrome, Edge, and Firefox, NAC developer environments tied to VS Code, and IoT devices that bridge into cloud services. The takeaway: it's a familiar start to the year. Critical internet-facing flaws meet fast-moving adversaries, but the playbook is clear. Visibility on exposed services, disciplined extension hygiene, and close attention to supplier trust will shape resilience in the days ahead. That's it for today's edition of the Daily Cyber Brief. Thanks for listening. I'm Blair Blackwell. This podcast is for informational purposes only and is not cybersecurity, legal, or financial advice.